Just a picosecond ago, clear blue skies, but now lightning struck your last resort. It's not an accident that no one hears your cries as your last
Hello, everybody.
You'll never see it.
How are we all doing? Welcome,
Hello,
one
everybody.
and all. Oh goodness.
How are
Oh, I was getting a little feedback there. Hold on. Are we all good? All right, I think we're all set now. How's it going? Welcome to the stream, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. Oh my goodness. All right. Are we good? I heard myself a little bit there. Hopefully that's all. We don't have to listen to that again. Welcome to the stream, everybody. For those of you who have never been here before, I'm seeing a lot of first-time chatters over there. Welcome to the office hours. My name is Chi. I go by Nubbins Inc. pretty much everywhere on the internet, and I am here to help you be a better streamer, be a more successful streamer, be great at this thing that we call content creation. I am joined today by my friends Elspeth and Mina. Thank you so much for joining us. We are here to talk to you all about staying positive. This being Mental Health Awareness Month, we thought it would be a good idea to chat with you all about how to stay positive, what it means to stay positive, and the things that you can do as a content creator to keep yourself mentally healthy. Now, I want to make sure that we say, before we kick this conversation off, I am not a mental health professional. I don't believe either of you are, but I, don't want to speak to your, professions. But we are going to be talking about our experiences. We're going to be sharing our experiences with you, but please, 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 if you are feeling, strong emotions, depression, things like that, please do make sure you are seeking professional help. This is not therapy, and we are not your therapists. But what we are is a bunch of content creators who have experienced the highs, the lows, and everything in between. So, Elspeth, why don't you go ahead and kick us off with tell people about yourself.
Sure. Hi, I'm Elspeth. I go by Elspeth. It's also my name, my actual name. I do streaming. I've been streaming for almost 10 years. I started off with voice acting and voiceover. You might have heard me as Tristana in League of Legends, Cadence in Crypto the Necrodancer, most recently Nori in Cook Serve Forever, May Morgan in Observation. I've done a ton of indie games, and I'm really happy to be part of Twitch still after this kind of crazy almost decade of doing this, which is nuts. So it's a good time. And I've been basically just no scheduling, no life and streaming it for, like, seriously, it's wild because I don't really, I've really taken it like, you know what, it's a variety stream. I play whatever I'm feeling. I've worked with a lot of brands in the past as well. So I've done stuff with like Mountain Dew, Dunkin', Intel. I've worked with Nvidia. I most recently worked with like Hey Dude shoes. And I've also big fan of Logitech and Streamlabs, and I feel like this is still a really weird juncture for me to take because when people are like, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't even know where I see myself next year. I couldn't have answered that question 10 years ago. So content creation has really just been what makes me happy. Is this a passion? If so, keep following it. And the office behind me too has been like. It's wild how much it's grown in the past, like, I don't know, 3-4 years, just thinking like, man, where's this stream going to be? So I'm rambling, but yeah, I've been doing this for some time now. So just happy to be here.
Awesome. And Mina, over to you.
Hi y'all. My name's Yasmin, but I go by Mina. I've been a part-time content creator and streamer for 5 years while pursuing my bachelor's and associates. I do a lot of variety. I play a lot of FPS. I do painting streams. We do some, Switch games and things like that. I'm not as exciting as Elspeth, but
no.
I'm just here for the vibes. Always here to hang out, have a great time on stream, make people laugh. And yeah, that's me.
Listen, we're all lame. It's totally fine. We all sit in a room by ourselves talking into a microphone. Like,
dude, literally.
No, voice acting is amazing. Like every time I meet a voice actor, I get so excited. Like I just want to know every little thing about voice acting. It's just so cool.
It is. And there's also that's me, right? Where I'm like, I also want to learn everything because there's so much always to absorb with acting. But yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
So, today's topic, like I said, is going to be on staying positive. Also, chat, we are monitoring chat. So if you do have questions specifically about what it is that we're talking about, please do feel free to try and throw it in there. I am monitoring like a bunch of things all at once. So I will try and make sure to take your questions down. And we will bring those up as topics of discussion, and make sure that we're talking to you about, the things that you are curious about, the things that you have questions about, the things that you're worried about even. So to start things off, I always describe content creation as just a roller coaster.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are such incredible high moments and such incredible low moments, but
yeah,
it's oftentimes that people don't see those low moments. So just to get things started out, like what are some of those, let's share some of those memories, those moments of like, oh my God, this is absolutely incredible. And maybe some of those like, wow, why the heck did I even get started with this? Like, whose idea was this, and
dude,
why was it mine, and why do I blame myself?
Well, right off the bat, I have one. It actually kind of happened in the same day. It was about 5 or 6 months into streaming, and I was really excited because this was also after I had announced I was Tristana in League of Legends, and I was like, cool, great, this is awesome, and I got front page on Twitch, which is. It was like 2015, so at the time it was very much like, wow, this is really crazy. There's a lot of eyes on this channel right now, and there's a lot going on that I wasn't prepared for, right? And it was, oh, what's up, Nathan? And it was so crazy because there were a lot of people that were really dedicated to making terrible usernames and then like subscribing with those usernames or following with those usernames, and it was like. It was so wild because that day was like the first taste of like, oh, there's a lot of people in here, and oh my gosh, there's also some people that are dedicated to like making this a bad time. Mm-hmm. So something like that can be really overwhelming as a streamer when you're just not prepared. You're just not prepared for people, right? You're not prepared for people to people. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that can be really difficult as a content creator when you're just like, oh, everyone's having a great time. It's like, oh, actually there are people that are looking to make this not fun. or maybe fun for themselves in that way. But I definitely felt like, you know, it's wild because I feel like when people are like, oh, dude, exposure, don't be paid in exposure. You don't want that. On Twitch, you actually do. On Twitch, it's like the more exposure you get as a content creator, not only you're opening yourself up, right, to the internet, but you're also, that is really, really important. Like you want to be paid, but exposure, it's such a wild beast. You're like, oh, I don't know who's watching today. Oh, I don't know who's watching today. Like that mentality can be difficult to deal with. So I think highs are great to be shown to a lot of people, to have your stream like, hey, this is going somewhere. And at the same time, like learning how to protect yourself and your own boundaries, as it were.
Yeah, no, definitely. And like, that's like such an interesting topic that I definitely want to get to. But Mina, do you have, what are some of your thoughts on this? Like, what are some of your memories of the good and maybe the less good?
I think boundaries is such a great topic for us to talk about. Especially as a Twitch streamer. A lot of people, and I'll talk about the good moments first. I think hitting partner was my biggest moment and made me super happy. I remember grinding out like content on all platforms, and then to finally get that email. I remember I was like looking through my channel, and then I see a random partner tab in my creator dashboard. I'm like, wait, that wasn't there before.
Oh,
and
dude,
I was like,
that's such a cool way to.
Yeah, and I was like, wait, where did that come from? It always said affiliate. And then I checked my email and I got it, and I started bawling my eyes out, crying. I was gonna call with my friend, and he tweeted it before I can tweet it because I was crying. He's like, news, Mina hit partner. And I'm like, wait. And then everyone in the community was hyping it up. I'm like, wait, I didn't announce it.
Yeah.
He was just so excited. But that was, after years of grinding, I was failing classes because I wanted partners so bad. I was, instead of studying, I was editing, I was uploading on every platform. And to finally just get that email, it was like I could finally relax, focus on school. I hit that goal I've been wanting for, I think, 3 years.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
That's
so
incredible.
Thank you. That was a big goal of mine. Going back to the boundaries, there's like a lot of good things with streaming, but then there's those bad things with streaming. I don't know if anyone's ever experienced having like people in your community who like gift you a bunch of subs, a bunch of bits, support you with your wish list, and in your head you're just like, wow, I have so many amazing supporters. But then to them it's more than that, and it's just, I don't want to get into too much detail, but they just start treating you different or expect more from you, or will use things against you. And it's just, I think that's one of the worst parts about being, I think, a woman streamer, is having those guys in the chat really try to take advantage of you because of the sub box next to their name or the amount of bits they donated. So I've experienced that a little bit in the beginning years, but building those boundaries now and really distancing myself and showing like, just because you gift doesn't mean you have access to me in my personal life and things like that. So that's something that's really hard as well, but we get through it and we build those boundaries and learn from it. So
definitely.
Absolutely. I feel that on a cellular level, where it's like, I'm so grateful to be able to stream. At the same time, there's something about this feeling of obligation almost. If someone's like, hey, I'm really like, just have all of this attention and all of this money, right? Because money talks. And that is an amazing feeling, but it can get a little overwhelming, especially if that person's expecting something afterwards, right? If they're like, okay, well, I'm giving you this and I expect something in return. That's difficult for me because I stream when I love my community so much. I even hesitate to say my community or my chat, because those are just people. Those are people who are not only like kind enough to tune in, but they're kind enough to like throw money at the stream as well, which is like, it still blows my mind. It's like, holy shit, that's really, really kind of you. At the same time, you really don't want I try not to be like, oh, well, I owe them after this, or I really owe them my time, or I really owe them this message. Because I really like talking to people in the channel. I really like talking to people in the stream. I pride myself on interactivity, but it is difficult. It is difficult, right? Yeah, like the acknowledge me, like I want to acknowledge as many people as I possibly can, because I think that, you know, overall when you're in a stream, it's about how you make them feel, right? How you can make the viewer feel, and how the viewer in turn can make you feel. And I really, really try to establish respect right off the bat. My number one rule, I think my only rule right now, is be excellent to each other, because truly excellence is I don't think that you can put that like, oh, well, it's subjective. No, I think if you're just really a kind person, if you're a nice person, we're probably going to get along. If you have an intent, right? If you have an intent, if you come into a chat and you have an intent, you're like, well, this is what I want. I can almost always read people's intent. I'm like, you're a first time chatter and you're trying to sell me on something, guy? Is there something else going on here? I don't know if you tuned in for the stream or if you wanted to tell me something that you had on your mind. Let's just say that, right? And I'm very, it's odd because I had to become conscientious of that. And Mina and Nub, I'm sure you guys did too. You had to learn that on your own. You had to establish your own boundaries. There's no one who will tell you as a content creator, for you in the audience, there's no one that's going to establish those boundaries for you. You have no way of knowing what you're comfortable with. You can't be like, oh, this is, just remember this. Like, you establish that for yourself. And your channel is a reflection of who you are. And I deeply feel that the chat is also reflective of who you are. So if you're really enjoying yourself on your stream, people are gonna see that, and they're gonna want to know more about that. They're gonna want to be a part of that. If you're like just kind of sitting there and you're burnt out, people can tell. Like, they absolutely can tell, especially if they're people that have been watching you for a long time, right? It's like they'll be able to be like, oh, dude, are you okay? Like, it seems a little rough. I normally have to be like, hey guys, a couple of you have asked if I was okay. You're right. I'm so tired, actually, and I'm really exhausted. So that's where I'm going to end. And it's like this feeling of, as long as you're true to yourself and you're like, I'm just doing this for the fun of it, people will. It's I don't know. My parents always told me, like, to do what you love and the money will follow, right? Like, money, don't make that your main thing. That I know we're talking about boundaries and that's the topic right now, but that's also very big. Like, some people view that ultimate dollar sign, and it's like, okay, but also stay true to yourself. You gotta take breaks. Yeah, you gotta.
And what I've written down is that this is all like a massive, like, very delicate balancing act, right? In my mind, right? Because, like,
yes,
how do you, like, balance the idea of growth with personal safety? How do you balance fostering an open community with safety, like community safety? And, to your point, like, you're 100% right. It is very personal, right? There are creators that I know, creators that I have the utmost respect for, who are like, absolutely no mental health talk in my channel whatsoever. We are not your therapist. We are not going to, like, you can reach out to individuals if they're okay with that, but, like, my chat, my stream is not the place for that. Yeah. And that is an okay boundary to have. Like, there are right and wrong ways, I would say, of, like, expressing that boundary, but that is an okay boundary to have. And that is something that every creator, you're right, needs to figure out for themselves. Because some creators are totally fine with it. Some creators are totally open to, like, pause the game. Hey, so-and-so is having a hard time. Let's all take a moment to hear them out and hear what they have to say. And that's great. And that is, if that's the kind of community that you want to have, props to you. If that's not the kind of community that you want to have, that is okay as well. But that is something that you have to decide for yourself. Like, I think there are certain guidelines that most people can agree on. Like, hey, maybe don't give out your full address on stream.
Oh yeah. Like never do that.
Yeah. Like we can all agree.
I never do that.
Yeah,
That
we
is
can
no.
we
shame.
can all generally agree, like, don't do that,
Yeah.
don't
Oh.
speak in detail about your neighborhood or where you live or things like that,
Generally good practices.
generally good practices. But a lot of these personal boundaries, especially around like interpersonal relationships between you and your individual community members, that is something that you have to figure out for yourself. And I think the difficulty lies in that a lot of people don't realize they have a boundary until all of a sudden somebody has stepped over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have the like, oh my God, I'm, an affiliate, and I'm so excited that there is somebody here who is now throwing bits, throwing tips, like, throwing stuff at my throne wish list. Like, this is so cool. Like, I'm so excited. Like, I'm making it as a streamer because of this person. And then all of a sudden you get the DM, you get the Discord message, whatever. That's steps over that line.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you have to contend with yourself, like, hold on, wait a second. And I actually want to go back, Elspeth, to something that you said, because I think this is the that insidious mentality of I owe them. I owe them my time. They have donated X amount of money to me. They've gifted X number of subs. Like, they deserve my time. I owe them my time.
Yep.
And that's a really, really, really insidious thought process, because, you want to be there for your community. You want to be there for, the people who help you do this thing and make this thing financially feasible, or, if not that, like, at least exciting and fun.
Yeah.
But
it's
please,
such a fine balance, right? So it's such like it's really what you're comfortable with. And I think that again, that's different for everybody. I remember when I first started streaming, it was like that same level of, well, I should respond to everyone. I should address all concerns. And if someone's not enjoying my stream and they are really like just dedicated to telling me why, then I should explain to myself in full detail, why that's uncomfy. But I don't know. It's really difficult to ignore people's like messages. It's difficult for me to look at something and be like, that's interesting. Most of the time I just like kind of separate. I separate like DMs and stuff. I guess there's ways to like put it into priority or general or whatever on Instagram. But I don't really get like I'm thankful, because I don't think I've had something like that in a long time, where someone's messaged me and I'm like, wow, I'm really uncomfy with this. I think generally people are very respectful, and I want to say that Twitch etiquette has gotten a lot better, because streamers have been more vocal about it, and they've been more like, hey, let me educate you on this. I also think it's really interesting, because Shifu totally said this earlier, where it was like, hey, streamers are not your friends. However, for me, that is where I'm like, I don't know if I can even safely say that, because I've made friends with a lot of my viewers. I've made friends with a lot of people who watch my stream. I've made friends through people who watch my stream with other streamers through collaboration. And again, it's all about levels of comfort. It's all about boundaries. If people are just hanging out and they're just responding to what I'm doing in the game, they're throwing some bits here and there, or they're just lurking, I always am like, damn. It's almost never like the whole chat. It's like, okay, there could just be that one person, right? And I think that's really easy for me to separate, because as long as you have like, I don't know, even if you have 5 viewers, 50, 500, 5,000, you're gonna have like this core group of people. You're like, oh, I'm so happy they showed up today. I'm so happy they're here. Like I'm I'm really thankful because not only do I get to see these familiar screen names, if you will, but I apply personalities to screen names all the time. I'm like, I remember who they are. I'm like, they have their own jokes. We have our own inside jokes. You know, they say something and other people are like, what's going on? I'm like, it's an inside joke. Don't you worry about it. Like it's I'm going off on a tangent again. But like I've made, yes, certified hater. Thank you, Supa. Supa's been a certified hater. He forgot to press
Since
the
day
unsubscribe
one.
button for like 114 months. Like
There you go.
He's exactly. So like some people forget to unsubscribe. It's okay, I understand. But it's like that there's a safety net there. Like when there's pardon my French, there's the buttholes out there. And then there's the people who really want you to do well. And you just look at the people who want you to do well. You're like, that's the direction I'll go. That's the one I want.
Yeah. And I feel like shutting out and like the term shutting out is even like tough to say. Like, yes, I 100% agree with this term of like shut it out. But like it's one of those I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this. It's one of those difficulties of like trying to figure out like what is valid criticism, I guess, like constructive criticism, and what is just like people trying to get their way with your channel.
Yeah. Because like I know people have good intent. I know there's people who come in and they're like, hey, you missed a thing. I'm like, all right. I don't have the time to be like, hey, buddy, I don't really need the help right now, right? I'm just playing the game just to play the game. But if someone comes in and they're like, oh, but this is really important. Like that's like, I just read the intent. They're not there to like disrupt things. If they keep doing it, then you're like, all right, I already said once that I didn't need the help. But if they're there just for like a little bit and they're so brand new, I usually am just like, yeah, like, thanks, bud. Appreciate that. But if they keep going, that's where you're like, okay, establish that I don't really need the help. And that it's also like, I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that person that's like, hey, back off there, pal. Because I seriously have most amazing moderators. They have been there for like the people that really are. It's like I'm unsure about where I'm like, I don't know what they're maybe they're being nice, maybe not. But usually the moderators are amazing and they'll be like, hey, you don't do that. They're just there to be like first line of defense. And that's like, A, that's amazing. And B, it helps me because I'm like, oh, that's what's going on in chat right now. So I can continue to look at the game. I can continue to stream. And this other viewer, they're like, oh, hey, thanks, man. I didn't know about that. Didn't know about the all caps or whatever. So I guess, again, I've gone off on a tangent here. But the point is that boundaries are so to you. They're personal to you, right? I knew some streamers back in the day who were like, I don't care if you're a troll. I don't care. W mods, seriously, dude. Mods are good first line of defense, truly. How do you effectively mod? That's the thing. Effective moderation too is also, I think, at the discretion of the streamer. It's at what you're comfortable with, what they're comfortable with, what they're comfortable doing. Because some moderators are like, I don't want to do that. I have one of my mods, Nordigraph. Shout out to Nordigraph. Absolutely, always the guy that's like, you being mean? Out you go. I'm like, he has no qualms. I'm like, I super appreciate that because sometimes I'm like, that's exactly what I need.
I think I saw. Go ahead.
I think like on the being positive note, I think the best way to be positive and not let a troll or someone ruin your stream is having that really good group of mods that know you. Like I've had the same mods for 3-4 years. They know me. They know what will bother me. They know I don't like to repeat myself 24/7. So they're just like, okay, we'll handle the chat, Mina. You have fun. You play your game. You have a great time. We're not going to let anyone bother you. We're not going to let anyone troll you. We're quick. We're quick. I literally like, I'll be in game. I'll look in chat, deleted message. Like I won't even see it because my mods are just like, we don't want these comments to make Mina upset and then she'll like be upset throughout the stream. I don't like let little comments upset me anymore, but in the past it was definitely a lot it affected me a lot more. But that's what's really amazing about having some great mods. They could really step in and help you and just help you stay positive throughout the entire stream, which is really nice. So shout out to a lot of my mods are in the
Seriously.
chat right now. So shout out to a lot of my mods.
Same. I'm like, Supa Scurry is here. Supa has been there since like day freaking one. Not only for like streaming, but for when I got partnered, which was in the 80s at this freaking point. But yeah, the mods are absolutely amazing, and my friends too, like people who I would say these are good friends, and I would like take a bowl of. And Dwang is here too. Dwang is also another shout out. Hi,
A lot of people are saying, how do you find a good
Dwang's a mod
mod?
as well.
Honestly,
Sorry, go ahead.
no, like I see a lot of people like, okay, I have a mod, sign up sheet. If you want to be a mod, sign up the sheet, yada yada. No, they're not gonna know you.
Yeah.
They're not gonna know your rules, how you like your stream to be. If you want a good mod, someone who's always there, someone you trust. Like all my mods started as viewers, and then they were VIP, and then they became mod. I'm like, okay, you know who I am. You've been here years. You know what I like and don't like. Having random people mod you that don't even watch you and things like that, that's not going to benefit you. You're not going to see them often. They're not going to know like who's joking and who's not, because they're never in chat. So definitely, if you want to mod someone, a friend, someone who's often in chat, who's not going to abuse their powers. And yeah.
That's seriously great criteria, I think, when it comes to deciding who you would like to be hand that power to, basically, because that's when people come into your stream, they're doing that, they're moderating it, right, and they're making sure that everything is copacetic. And sometimes there are conversations, because I do a lot of just chatting where I want to have conversations with people, even though it's like I'm just speaking to a camera. I want to know people's opinions and perspective, because that also helps me grow as a streamer. And sometimes we get into heated discussions, and if I'm already off on like another topic, the moderators are still talking to someone else because they might have another question, or it's like we're almost always on the same page about stuff. And they've been with me since, gosh, like October. I want to say October 2014 is like pretty much almost every single person that I have modded has been with me for the last 10 years.
Amazing.
Like it's been
Oh,
insane.
wow.
Yeah, they've been modding for me since the beginning. And that's like, and what's crazy is that they're all like across the pond, or in the southern hemisphere. So they're not in the States. I'm just like,
Wow.
how is that a thing? I don't know, dude. I just got when I say blessed, I don't use the word blessed a lot, but I got blessed with the people that moderate my stream. Like there are some of the most amazing people on the planet.
But like you've like exactly like I think detailed precisely how to find the right people, which is people who have been there since the start, people who have been there maybe watching you figure out where your boundaries were to begin with. Like, oh, I had no idea that this was something that bothered me, and now I know it bothers me, and they pick up on that, right?
The amount of times I didn't believe in myself, and they were like, "It's okay, Elspeth, you got this." It like changes you. You're like, "What do you mean? You're just here just because you want to see me succeed?" Supa built Speth bot, which is like one of the bots, like the bot that we use for like that. Like I've called her like my daughter, right? And she calls me mama in the chat, and it's just like that. That's amazing. It's amazing to me, and I'm again very grateful.
I saw a question zoom by in the chat asking, is there still a way to enforce these type of boundaries, but also elevate certain members of the community because of their support? Yeah, I think that there are ways that you can give back to, the people who are like your biggest supporters. And, I think that they're, whenever anybody talks about boundaries as it relates to content creation, as it relates to streaming, people tend to view it as just sort of this like impenetrable barrier, right? Like that you throw the wall up and nobody's allowed in and nobody's allowed anywhere close to you. And like, that's not true. It's a matter of figuring out who you let pass that wall.
Yeah.
Because, to Elsa's point, I have met people who were viewers of mine who have been to my house and have like stayed at my house. Like, this is not something that just anybody would get access to, but they started out as viewers and are now some of my closest friends. And so that's not to say that like building and having those kinds of very deep personal connections is impossible just because they started as a viewer, but I think you also have to develop a very, very accurate BS radar. Like
Yep.
you have to be very sure in your boundaries, and you have to be like damn clear about, what is okay and what is not okay. And who you are willing to extend this kind of connection to and who you aren't. And so it's very, very, very possible to, be able to have those kinds of relationships with people, but you also have to be careful. Like it's all about balance. It's balancing that idea of the internet's a terrifying place and people may be out there to get you, but also there are some really genuinely wonderful human beings out there who, if you let them, will be some of your closest friends. And
100%.
it's a tough balance.
It is. I think I love how that's also how we've been ending. We're like, it's a tough balance.
Yeah.
It's a very tough balance. But it is. It's a balancing act. I actually see a question right now, which is, what do you recommend to grow your stream viewers? And I feel like that's a really great segue, because collaboration with your friends, right? Collaboration with other streamers, collaboration with people. I actually talked to a pretty large group about this the other day, about collaborating and why it's so important, because you can bring communities that are not normally maybe used to watching you. If you have a friend that also streams, it can be fun just to do something together, just to do something with your friends on stream, play a game, talk to each other, have discussions, invite collaboration. Because if it's just you all the time and you're trying to grow your stream, that can be probably really difficult. And I'm going to speak as someone who is maybe out of the game and a bit out of the loop when it comes to really growing your channel, because it was a lot different. It was a lot different when I first started. So I would say that collaborating is a great way to get yourself to new viewers and get yourself to new eyeballs. So if you have friends that stream, definitely ask them, even if you're like, hey, I'm streaming to like maybe one person, two people. You never know what could happen if you're like, hey, why don't we just like do a community night? Maybe we could play games together. Maybe we'll see what happens. You never know, because those two people, though, even that one person could be like, maybe we could do something together. And now this is also like what you would want as a streamer, right? Where you're like, well, what am I looking for? What's your ultimate goal as streaming? And if you're looking to grow, how far do you see yourself growing? Where are you like, man, I want like 10,000 viewers. You've got to look at someone who has 10,000 viewers and then put yourself on that, like, okay, well, I like watching this person. Would I like watching my own stream? Would 10,000 people watch my stream? Would this be enough? With it's you've always got to keep yourself like, okay, look at what streams are really doing well now. Look at their production value, right? Because I feel like production value is a huge one. A huge one. I'm an audio nerd. So if you're trying to grow your stream, y'all, good microphone. Good microphone is going to get you there almost 90% of the way, because if someone is screaming and then they're peeking in your headphones, you're like, oh God, what? I can't even listen to this person for more than 5 minutes. They're not going to want to watch your stream. If you have something that sounds good, even if you don't use audio, if it looks good, sounds good, half the battle right there. Half the battle.
Yeah.
I don't need the
Don't need the Wendy's mic, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like you really want something that is going to be, I'm not, no shade to any microphones at all. And whatever you prefer, you prefer. What I prefer, as someone who's been on this platform for a really long time, is listening to somebody that has their stuff set up correctly. And that can be really just the first part you got. You got to get that right.
Yeah. And always audio over video. If you have to pick one, pick audio first. So
Aw, Pyro, thank you.
so one of the things that I jotted down here. So we've been talking a lot about outside negative influences. You know, trolls, hate raids, hate brigades, all that stuff. But not all negativity is from the outside. Some of it comes from very deep within yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that it's one of those things where, you know, depending on how you are already feeling going into your stream, sometimes somebody can just say the one thing. Like, you know, we were talking before about learning to tune out those voices in chat that are being negative but that aren't aren't sort of the majority. Like it's a very vocal minority. And you have I find that these individuals tend to show up as the like, this game is boring, play something else type of people, right? Like, Fortnite again, why don't you play COD? Like, you know,
that one person
the one person in the back who's like screaming over everybody else. And yes, like that one individual in that moment might be super easy to tune out. That one individual in that moment, you know, your moderator might just be like, shut up, stop, don't do that.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But what your moderator can't stop is like when you shut your stream off and you turn the lights off and you turn off the camera and then you're in your room and you have that insidious thought of, crap, would it be better if I stopped playing this? Should I have switched? Like, are people bored of watching me play this?
Yeah.
And it just takes that one person sometimes. It just takes that one person. And it's I think that this can affect creators no matter what size you are. But I think it's much more intense for the individuals who that one person maybe is one of 10 or one of 20 people watching. Or maybe, you know, one of 20 people watching, but one of only 7 who are talking in chat. How do you individually work through those emotions? How do you work through those feelings of imposter syndrome? Am I good enough? What am I doing? Why am I here? Like, because I think that every single streamer has had this existential question about themselves at one point or another.
Sure.
And I think that that's fairly regardless of size. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I think any streamer who has seen some sort of momentum build has had this question of, what am I doing? Am I doing the right thing?
Yeah.
How have you worked through that?
I will say I used to have that thought in my head a lot. Like if I switched games, my view count was low. So I was like, I have to stay on this game. But then growing up and, you know, streaming more over the years, I realized your community will watch you no matter what you play. You know, if they genuinely support you, if they genuinely care, you know, I don't know, then they will watch you no matter what. And I had to learn that the hard way, ending stream sad that my view count was lower than usual, or especially trying to hit partner, like, oh, I have to stick to this game. If I just ruined my chances of partner because I played a different game. But then you notice it's the same people in there when you switch. It's the same people where you can try a new game, a different genre, and they're still there to support you, which is what helped me so much. Because that ending stream and then going in bed and overthinking, like, wow, what could I have done to bring more people in here? It sucks. It sucks, like, and it makes your mood change a lot. So something I recommend to any up and coming streamer, turn the view count down. Like, hide it. Don't look at the view count. You're not gonna have fun if you just stare at that and focus on the numbers and being so hard on yourself. So if you turn it off, you'll just focus on having fun. Your mood won't shift, And then you'll realize more people will watch you because you're so excited and happy, versus if you have low energy, not a lot of people are going to stay around, or they're going to mention, hey, are you sad? Are you okay? Maybe you should end if you're not feeling good. Things like that. So,
Yeah.
so that's what I recommend.
Yeah, I think I just had like a flashback to like a streamer archetype that I've thought about for this, and this is like anybody who's been in the streamer space for any amount of time knows what I mean when I say the pity me streamer. It's usually like the, you know, streaming to like maybe one or two people, you know, very sort of inconsistent viewership.
Yeah.
I think they usually are streaming all the time, like 7 hours a day, just grinding Call of Duty in a dark room lit only by their monitors. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And you know, I constantly come back to this archetype of creator because, you know, to your point, like, yes, your supporters like to see you when you are happy. They like to support you. You know, not that they only want to see nothing but the happy side of you. You know, my streamers, my viewers are very, very like, yes, we're here to support you even when you're sad. Like, you know, you could be having the worst week, and that is okay. Like, you know, we just want you to be okay. But it comes from a place of wanting you to be at your best so that you can put yourself out there as an entertainer. And it's the one thing that fundamentally this archetype, the stereotype of streamer gets wrong, which is if you are sitting there just being sad and upset on main all the time, you are going to build the community that kind of behavior attracts, right? And that is not necessarily going to be the most positive one. Because I think a lot of people, it is a lot of emotional labor. That's a great phrase. It is a lot of emotional labor as a viewer of a creator to constantly be there trying to help boost your mood.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, people watch streaming to be entertained, right?
Yep.
That is core to what content creation is. It is meant to be entertaining. And that doesn't mean that you have to be happy all the time, because there is that pressure as well of like, shove your emotions down, the show must go on. But also you cannot be constantly like down and depressive, I think, because that will not always foster the community that you want. But it won't necessarily keep people there, because people will expend all of that emotional energy on you, do all of that emotional labor for you, see nothing back from it, and then say, okay, well, I'm just going to go then, I guess.
They absorb your emotions.
Yeah, it's a feedback cycle for sure.
Yeah.
And you know, so I think it to put this in the positive light that, you know, we want to, this means that when you go live, try your best to show up as the, you know, most best version of yourself as you can. You know, you don't have to be perfect. That's not what I'm saying. But try to be, you know, sort of the best version of yourself that you can give at that moment. Because, you know, to your point, your viewers who have been watching you for a long while, they know. I used to think I was so good at hiding my emotions. Oh my God. Turns out I'm terrible at it. Had no idea. But like in my mind, I was like, wow, I'm super depressed and no one can tell.
No one knows.
No, everybody knows. No, you're not tricking anybody. Everybody can see it on your face. Like, you know, you're not slick. You're not cool.
And Elspeth said it earlier, like, if it's okay to take days off. Like, if you're sad, don't stream. Don't, like, if you are going to, everyone's going to know. You could hide it as much as you'd like, but everyone's going to know. So just take the day to yourself. You know, I feel like a lot of people force themselves to stream 10 hours a day. Life hack. You could stream 3 times a week and have more followers and more viewers than you would if you streamed every single day. as long as you're posting on other platforms, a lot of people will literally, I saw someone say, how do you grow your viewers? You know, like posting on other platforms, literally, if you stream all the time, people, their mindset, oh, I'll catch them another time. I'll see them later this week. If you stream 3 times a week, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to miss their stream if I don't make it because they only stream 4 hours 3 times a week. So I'm going to make it there. So, you know, if you need a day off, take a day off. Don't stream upset. You know, you're going to put those, other people will absorb those emotions and like, oh, dang, this stream is kind of sad. I want to leave.
Yeah.
So, so take a day off. You know, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I didn't just take a day off. I took like at the end of the year in 2023, I took like weeks off. And that was also probably at the beginning of this year. Not in the greatest mental headspace. And it was a lot of like, I really need to work through some things. And it's difficult for me to stream when, I look at streaming as my career, right? So it's difficult for me to do my job. It's difficult for me to, I guess, work and fulfill obligations when I'm not really in a great mindset. And I think that's, you know, true for quite a few people. And some people are like, hey, I can't even take a day off, right? I work like 2-3 jobs. I don't get the luxury of paying attention to my mental health because I'm just living paycheck to paycheck. And I never want to take that for granted. I'm like, where I am right now, I can take days off and I can't afford to like, hey, I can miss a few days. But it does not feel great to be missing so much of my viewers and their experiences because I really miss, again, I say my viewers, but I miss those people and I miss streaming. And if I don't maintain my stream setup, if I don't maintain, if I'm not there regularly, I find that it's like out of sight, out of mind sometimes, and it just slips away. And I'm like, oh, maybe I don't feel as compelled to stream as I once did because of my mental headspace. And it's so wild. Like once I started really relaxing and resting and eating better and moving more, I was like, you know, I'm thinking about a stream today. And I really want to do this today. I just did for like one of the first times ever, maybe like the second or third time, I did a movie night with a bunch of people from the stream, and it was great. It was lovely. And I'm like, oh my God, we need to do this more often. We need to do this more often because like you guys are awesome. And I felt so much more, it's weird, but I felt so much more connected when I was able to like work on myself first, when I was like, okay, I'm so burnt out. I'm like, I've got skid marks everywhere. You know, I'm like running myself dry here and it's bad. And it's W movie night, man. I missed it. I'm sorry, Nathan, but it's like, I do feel, not a sense of obligation, but a sense of like, I don't want to let them down. Not even obligation, there, right? It's like this, I want to be the streamer that they see me as. I want to continue being this positive influence, and I want to continue having this energy that gives other people energy and motivation and inspiration because I love being able to do that. But when I can't find it in myself, then I'm like, I can't even turn on the camera, bro.
Just saw a question. Should beginners also do streaming 3 to 4 times a week or daily? Even less. Twice.
Actually, honestly, I'm going to give you guys a little advice. So I had 2 friends in the past. We are no longer friends, but I hope they're doing well. They're like, you know, we don't want to be friends with Mina, but we want to hit partner before her to bother her. And so they didn't stream at all. They actually uploaded on TikTok 24/7. They blew up on TikTok, like I'm talking 500,000 followers. And then they started streaming, averaging a ton of viewers, hitting partner. And then they didn't start streaming. I don't think they stream anymore. I'm not sure. But, you know, they let all that hate motivate them, all that negativity motivate them. And they uploaded like 3-4 times a day on TikTok and stuff. Oh, so, wow. Great for them. Hope they're doing well. But honestly, streaming, you will not grow on streaming on Twitch only nowadays. In the past, I'm not sure, Elspeth, how it was in the past, but I know TikTok wasn't a thing until like 2020.
Oh yeah, no. Elspeth and I can talk about the pre-TikTok days. Don't worry.
Yeah. The pre a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Right? Where I'm like, We didn't have the features. We didn't have like a little
YouTube
tab.
Shorts,
There was
Reels.
nothing.
Nothing.
It was
None of
just
that.
like tumbleweeds. You know, the internet is still kind of figuring itself out. But
This was
yeah,
back when
pre-TikTok, dude.
this was back when getting Twitch partner was like, if we feel like it.
It was that.
Yeah, like you could apply
it
at
was
any
that,
point.
Dude.
Yeah.
A month and a half after I started streaming, I got partnered, and I'm like, cool. That must just be how it is for everybody, and it's not. It's
Nope.
definitely not. I was like, okay, I got kind of really fortunate here, but it was such a hey, you're partnered now. That was it. It was just that was it. And
then partner managers too.
partner
like,
managers, yeah,
was
partner
so
managers were a
different back
thing.
then.
It was so different. And it's really odd to, dude, Mina. Sometimes I still I feel like because of like you said, get your growth if you can outside of the platform, because I don't want to say it, the S word, the saturated word, right? It's very, there's a lot of people on Twitch now. There's millions, right? And I don't want to discourage anybody from streaming, but it is what you can put into it. And sometimes that means that you've got to grow outside of Twitch as well. Because that's what I did. I actually came over from Twitch from YouTube. So YouTube was already somewhat established. So my first stream, I think I streamed to like 20 people. I was like, hey, I've got viewers right off the bat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We lived through Vine, man.
Musically, we lived through Musically.
It's been
Remember
like, what the-
Periscope? Like, yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, Periscope. Yeah, and that's wild too, because with Twitch there's been so much of this. There's been so much of like, wow, I've experienced, you know, like I know this was a question in the beginning. I've experienced lows of, oh no, I'm washed. I'm irrelevant. No one cares. And then I get back online and I start being, you know, regularly streaming and consistent, and it feels like, oh, I never left.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is fun. This is fine. We're
And
good.
that's the thing though, right? Is that is I think one of the most singular like motivating factors for people not to take breaks is that idea of the second I step away from my stream, I will be washed, I will be irrelevant, I will be forgotten about, I will be all of these things.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit here and say that like your entire viewer base is going to still be there for you. Like, no, there are going to be some people who drift away, and that's okay, because, you know, to Mina's point, your core viewer base is still going to be there, and they are going to be excited for you to come back. And that is, I know that this is like going to sound euphemistic. This is going to sound maybe even a little bit patronizing, right? But it's one of those things where it's like you learn very, very quickly who your real community is, and how much more important those individuals are to you as a creator than number go up.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Right?
I think if number went up and it just kept going up, I wouldn't have a community. I would just have people watching me, and it wouldn't feel as what's the word? Close knit, maybe, where it these people make it feel like it doesn't matter what that viewer count looks like. It doesn't matter how many people are watching. I'm like, oh, well, they're here? That's cool. Because I can rely on them. I can rely on these same people to be like, laugh at my dumb jokes. Thank you. That's literally all I want. Like, I made crappy jokes. Thanks for putting a lol in chat. That's affirming. That's it. That's all I want. And sometimes you can get so much further being real about your emotions and being like, what the hell? This game sucks. I don't want to play this game. I don't want to do it. And they'll remember that. They'll be like, man, you remember that one time you played Dark Souls 3 and like you hated it so much? And then I played Elden Ring and loved it. And it's like that, because you're a different person. I'm not the same person I was in 2014. If I was the same person, I'd be kind of concerned.
Yeah.
So, like, people will leave. Your community will be like, all right, you know, I'm just out here doing my own thing because everybody's got their own life. You know, people change, people step away from Twitch. I get that. There's actually a fellow who I've known since he was probably like 14 or 15 or something like that, and he's been a sub for a very long time, and it's wild because he was like, you've seen me, you helped me grow up, like you've literally, he's in his 20s now, and I'm just like, that is that is bizarre.
Yeah.
That's bizarre to have people who have been watching you and a part of things for so long that it's like, well, what? Oh, we're all old now. We're
Yeah.
older now.
No, I think literally I had a viewer of mine who entered my community their freshman year of high school, and then
Yeah, right?
recently came back
Yes.
and was like, "I'm starting freshman year of undergrad." I was like, "Oh, what?
Like, what?
What did you just say to me?"
You're
Yes,
so
dude.
old.
So old. So old.
I've been saying for years, like literally years, it is so much more important to grow a community than to grow your view count.
Yes.
Like you may have only like 60 viewers, let's say, compared to, everyone else in the hundreds. But then you'll notice like it's not about the money, but it's just an example. You notice your sub count is a little higher than others because your community is like, okay, I want to support this person. I want to help you financially. I love you. Here's 10 gifted. Versus like people are like, I'm just here to watch. I'm here to laugh. I'm here to get entertained.
Yeah.
And then, they get entertained on that certain game and then dip. Versus your community, they'll be there no matter what game you play.
Yeah.
They'll, and building a community it's amazing because you have those movie nights. I have anime nights every Wednesday, and then I have community nights every Saturday. We play a game, and then at night we watch a movie. And so for those who don't watch anime, like it's nice to build those bonds with people. I met my community at TwitchCon. We all went to TwitchCon together. They were in the crowd. They had my face on a shirt while I was playing in Rivals.
That's amazing.
That's a real community. That's the real community. Those are people you met on the internet, but then you meet them in person, and they're just some of your best friends too. So I've always been so strong on build that community, make those friendships. Some people it's all personal preference. Some people stream and get off and then go live their real life.
Yep.
You could do that too if you don't
Real
want
life.
those.
And that's fine.
Just
Yeah.
They're IRL friends.
Yeah.
They're like, I just want to stream to an audience. I don't want a community. That's fine.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, do what works for you.
I hear you, and I know some people do that. I don't get it. If
I don't
you're
either.
like right, like I'm like, if you're on here and you're just streaming and you don't want to talk to anybody, you just want to play the game. What?
Go be a YouTuber.
Why though? Like why? Right? Like why? I mean, if you're looking for that, like I genuinely want to know, like why? Because Twitch seems so interactive, right? Like live content, really anywhere. It's not just Twitch. Live content is so like meant to be. I like reading what's in the chat. I like it's the best feedback you'll have is the chat. Like that whatever people are saying is like sometimes that echoes what you're saying, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
But, I read absolutely everything in chat. Absolutely everything everybody says, nothing escapes me. Nothing. People are like, "She missed my message." I'm like, "No, actually.
I was
read another
ignoring
one.
you.
I just read another
read it
message
in your head.
I read it
and
in
then,
my
like,
head, dude. I'm
but
like
you
a
didn't
speed reader.
say it out loud.
Oh,
Like,
all
I
the
do
time.
that all the
Mhm,
time.
all the time.
Oh my! I'm like, wait, I thought I responded, but it was just in my head.
It's
like,
gotten to
"Ooh,
a
I said
point.
that."
It's gotten to a point now where like I'll see somebody like say something in the chat, but I'm talking about something else. And it's gotten to a point now where I have like a copy paste thing that I will say of, "Oh, hey, so and so, I'm so sorry. I saw you and I said hi in my brain, but my mouth didn't get the message." Like that's literally what happens is I will see somebody's username and my brain will be like, "Oh, hey, you,
Oh.
good to see you." And that thought never goes from here to here. But I think I saw a question that was, as a gamer, what attracts more viewers, the game or how you interact with the audience while playing that game? It's all about how you interact with the audience. Like, this is exactly what we're talking about, is how you interact with the audience is everything. Because this is live, this is a live format, right?
Yeah.
Unless you are like one of those streamers who your chat is moving 1,000,000,000 miles an hour and it's impossible to read all of the messages that are being sent, unless you are one of those creators, people are there to interact with you. And even for some of those creators, like, maybe those messages that get through come through donations, and like donation TTS, stuff like that. But, at the end of the day, as a live streamer, you are there for live interaction. what that threshold of interaction is depends on where you are, sort of in terms of chat speed, but you are there to live interact with an audience, because otherwise, again, just go watch a YouTube video. It's the same experience. So yeah, that's I think putting the emphasis on the live part of live streaming is so important.
I feel like
Yes.
there's a difference. Like, there's like those streamers who are like pro at the game they play and they don't read their chat, but they have like people they're entertaining. So I feel like there's a difference between entertaining an audience with your gameplay versus entertaining them with you personally. So I do see a lot of people with not hundreds of thousands, but thousands of viewers, and they don't read chat. They don't talk to their chat. They just play the game, and they're like, you guys can watch, and people love it. They're just like entertained. They're like, this is really fun to watch, versus the other people who are pretty good at the game, but they're not at pro level. So people are there for them, not really the game. So
For sure, I'm bad at games. Still bad at games. Like,
I saw. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, Mina, in response to that, 100%. I feel like that's where people fall. There's a running joke that I play games through brute force. If there's like a puzzle somehow, I'm like, I'll just figure it out. Not using the cranium, because I'd rather like be seeing what's going on in the chat. I'm just bad at annoying good at Mario Kart for no reason. Okay. but that's been out for like 12 years at this point, so I've had some time to get good at Mario Kart. No.
Everybody has their one special skill.
Yes.
Another question, we'll answer this one real quick. Do you suggest streaming at times where fewer people are streaming or trying to compete with a big competition? If you are thinking about streaming from that perspective, you are already on the back foot.
you should not rely on other people for your streams. at all.
Controversial, maybe a harsh way of putting it, but if you are already worried about how you stack up against other people in the like browse and compare section, you're already on the back foot. Focus on making good content that drives people to your stream. Streaming, like we said earlier, streaming in and of itself is not a source for you to gain viewers. Streaming is a way for you to celebrate the community that you've built on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, take your pick. X,
It's difficult
whatever.
too, like, because it's I want to say, like, yeah, absolutely, you can grow just through Twitch. It would take someone else to be in your stream to be like, I'm going to now show your stream to a larger group of people, and that would have to be your connection, right? Your connection to a larger audience, your connection to bigger growth. Because again, I say this, but other people truly collaborating, it's the best way to grow your channel and get it from outside of Twitch as well. Because it's interesting, right? I have a lot of people who are European viewers, so I try not to stream too late at night. If I'm streaming late at night, generally it's because I just want to try and get in a stream at some point because I've missed it. But if I'm streaming, I'll try and hit like the 1 to 5 p.m. Eastern time start time. That for me is like the sweet spot. That because it's not too early for the West Coast people in the United States, because I'm from the States, and for people who are maybe in like Europe, it's not terribly late for them either, so they can still tune in. I think that like midday for me is probably the best time to start so far. But that's also something that I've noticed with my own analytics, so that's really difficult to be like, oh, I can nail this in just one answer. It's different for everybody. Actually, I know a lot of people that stream at like 2 a.m. They'll go live at midnight. You know, if I end late, chances are I'm like, oh, there's Skin Teen, like she's up till the wee hours of the morning. And you know, that's not my jam. That's not my time frame. But also, I always recommend raiding. Raiding is like one of the number one ways. If you can, it's always great to raid people, because you never know who's going to stop by your own channel and be like, oh, I've decided to raid you. You never know.
Speaking of raids, I do want to add this. I don't know if you guys have experienced this, but recently I've been getting it a lot. So there's a lot of people, a lot of up and coming streamers who, I hate to say this, but they aren't putting any effort into their own content, and they will raid me with one viewer, and I'm like, oh my god, shout them out, everyone go follow them, and I look, they're still streaming. And they go into other streamers streams, like partners, and they raid, get that shout out, and then keep going, like fake raids. So it's a common thing, and a lot of people will do that for followers, and instead of putting their content on other platforms, it's just they spend like I remember someone was streaming like 10 hours
Oh
just
my
doing
God.
that back and forth. No gaming content, nothing, just back and forth raiding people with hundreds of viewers, and then getting the shout out, and then getting the followers, and I'm like, that's not how you do it.
That's
Don't do that.
unsustainable. That's like,
Yeah, and
that's not
it's
even
like my
something
mods.
you can.
Yeah, it's like my mods have to like, okay, we got raided. Let's check if they're live or not. And then like it's just it's so bad.
Bunch of
like,
barnacles.
like, if there was one thing that I could like Thanos snap out of existence for streaming, it's the idea of like the I don't even want to call it like get rich quick, but like that's kind of where it comes from, right? It's the, you know, do whatever it takes to make number go up. This is what we're exactly what we were talking about.
Sure.
Make number go up, number make big, business give money. Like that's literally, I know I'm kind of being infantile about it, but that's literally the mentality of number go up, make number big, give money. Like that's the thought process. And the, you know, maybe I don't know, maybe that's a rude way to put it, but like it is. It's literally that's the mentality. And truthfully, if let's say somebody is wildly successful at this scheme and somehow reaches like 10K followers or whatever, right? And they start streaming because you still have to make content. Like you can't just, you know, not make content. You still have to make content. And you know, they have 10K followers and they have like 2 people watching. That doesn't look good. Like no business is going to look at that and say, yes, we're very excited about your 10,000 followers, none of whom tune in to watch you. You know, it looks worse. It looks bought. And like you are hurting your chances. And this goes to everybody who, you know, follow me back, I follow you back, whatever. Like if 1% of those people that you get via follow for follow like actually come watch you, that's a miraculous result. Like legitimately. So like if there was one thing that I could and to kind of bring it back to you know the topic here, I do think that this kind of behavior is born of frustration. I do think this kind of behavior is born of a sense of desperation.
Yeah.
Because, and I've said it on this channel a few times, but you know, there's a lot of new folks here, so I'll get to say it again. We are presented as creators who probably watch other content creators and watch other streamers. We're presented with this false idea of, oh, I just need to go live and people will show up and pay me money. That's all I got to do. All I need to do is sit in a room, have a camera pointed at me, and yap, and people will pay me millions of dollars. And the reason why this is such a pervasive falsehood is because algorithmically we are pushed the most successful content creators.
Yep.
We are pushed their content because it performs the best, because they have massive audiences who are tuning in all the time to watch all of their content. Right?
Yep.
It's that self-perpetuating cycle of they are big because they are successful, and they are successful because they are big.
Because they're big. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we see this, and this becomes the norm for us.
Mhm.
This becomes the, all Moist Critical does is sit in his room under like fluorescent lights and talk about what he sees on the internet. I can do that. Anybody can do that. I'll start doing that right now. And you start doing that, and you put out content that you think is good. Like, you legitimately think your content is good, and that's great. Like, believe in yourself. But that also doesn't mean that you have the exposure, the marketing, the reach to reach the audiences that you need to consume that content. And you put effort and effort and effort week in, week out, day in, day out into producing content that you think is good enough, and you don't see results. And that's when you start going into other people's channels and rating with one viewer and being like, I just need to get my name out there, whatever it takes, however it's possible. I don't care. I just need as much engagement as I can.
That's a good point. I think it's like that. Well, I want engagement, but I think you should have a mission. You should have an idea of what you want to do with your stream. The kind of community, the kind of people you're looking to interact with, if you're even looking for interaction. I see people in the chat that are like, hey, I'll follow you if you follow me. Like, that's something that you've got to ask yourself. What am I looking to curate here? What kind of community am I looking to make? Am I looking for the kind of people that I can talk with about this game that I'm playing? Like, are we bonded together through Valorant? Or are we having a discussion about anime? Are we talking about the latest shows? What are we doing here? What is your channel about? And what is the mainstay that's going to keep people coming back? Because people want to align with your content, right? They want to be like, oh, a like-minded individual. I'll stick around because they seem kind of cool. So you really gotta have an identity. I think you have to have an identity. You have to have a brand is a great idea. So if you're like, I've got an idea for a logo, I've got an idea for a fun name, I've got an idea for this, make that your thing. Make a brand. Like, brand it. I've got my little E in the corner of my streams all the time. It's a little elephant. People know. They're like, oh, that's like the Elspeth logo. I put my name out there all the freaking time. My name is my brand, and that's likely going to be the same for you if you're looking to create content on Twitch. Your name is going to be your brand every single time. So you should do something that is, I say should, but my advice is to keep it succinct, keep it short, keep it sweet as much as possible. So like, if you have, for example, I'm just going to throw this out there. If you have a name with like a long string of numbers, that's going to be impossible for people to remember. Your handle is what people remember on Twitch, right? That is ultimately your brand. That's your channel. That's your stream. Make it so. Make it so. If all those string of numbers if that's really what you want your brand to be, if that's what you want people to remember, then put all those numbers on a nice little graphic banner and make it that's your thing. That's your thing. Get a gimmick if you can. Gimmicks are, and make it, a nice positive gimmick. Something that shows off who you are. That is also like, hey, I'm looking to find like-minded people. Whether or not that's compatible with TOS is another different thing entirely. So you also learn the Twitch TOS terms of service.
Yeah.
Learn that as a creator. If you don't know the terms of service and you're trying to grow on Twitch, you're gonna have a hard time. You're gonna have a hard time because Twitch. If you do start growing, and you reach a point where you're like, I'm untouchable. I don't need to worry about Twitch TOS, because maybe you identify as a smaller streamer, maybe you identify as a growing streamer, maybe you identify as a huge creator, and you're just like, I'm safe. Read TOS. Read TOS. It'll save you so much time, so much worry, so much effort, even if you don't want to. Because if you want to succeed, you have to know the rules.
Yeah.
You may have to relearn them every week, yes, but do your best. Do your best because it's really important. It's really important, the rules of this platform, because there are rules. There are rules. And if you know the rules, then you can make your stream based around those rules. You can make your stream based around, okay, this is what I want. There are certain things that I do not do on my stream. There are certain things that I keep off of my stream. There are certain topics I don't discuss. There are things that I'm like, no, that's not what my stream is about. And so you build that brand, build that recognition where people come in, they're like, I can expect this. I can expect this person to consistently interact with me. And that's, I think, really important. It's really, really important. It's not just a numbers game. It's what's your identity? What does that look like? Are you this like, bam, I'm in your face, bright, colorful person, and I have like a bunch going on? Or are you more reserved and you're like, man, I hate the world, and you're like, I'm just looking for other people who hate the world. I actually, one of my first people that I ever subscribed to was excessive profanity, and you already know what you are getting with excessive profanity as a name. He is his own brand. He's his own brand, and he's Australian, so you can only imagine how much crazier that gets. Like, he's his own brand, and it's like that kind of making it memorable. If you can make your stream memorable in some way, and I'm not talking like in an angry, violent manner, as some people are like, yeah, well, what if I just murder a cat? Like, don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Want it to be, you don't do that.
Refer back to Twitch TOS.
Make it memorable, man. Yeah, he's Australian. He's awesome. He's awesome.
I want to kind of take a bit of a left turn here. I'd like us all to share some off-stream self-care tips. What are some things that if you've had a rough stream, or maybe the stream just took more out of you than you anticipated? You know, what are some things that we all do to like re-energize and get ourselves back to baseline?
For me,
Mina, I've been going off. Please say words. I'm like, all I'm doing is rambling. I'm sorry.
oh my gosh. No, I have two things that make me feel better, depending on my mood. If I'm mad, I don't want to take it out on anyone. You know, I don't want to make anyone upset. So I go to the gym when I'm mad. So I negative energy into the gym and make it a great workout. When I'm sad, like, I'll have a self-care night. So I'll put my hair in a bonnet, put on a face mask, have a comfort meal or something, and watch a show I like. And it really calms me down. I think if you're upset or something upset you on stream, don't go edit. Don't get off your computer. Like, it's just going to make you even more upset, and then you're not going to be able to work properly. So leave your space, turn your computer off, go do something you enjoy. Walking around my neighborhood calms me down, looking at all the plants, looking at the animals outside. I have a little, what's the word? I can't think. I have a bunch of plants in my backyard. A garden, thank you. Yeah. I just blanked. I have a garden.
It's okay.
It calms me down to pick fruits, to water. Just being outside calms me down. Yeah, I have peaches, pears, pineapples.
Oh, what?
That's
pomelo.
awesome.
Visit, because I want to pick the fruit. That sounds so nice.
Yeah, we had a ginormous peach tree, and it was on the side of the home, and we live on the edge, so everyone was coming on our property taking it. So we were known as the peach house, and people had bags and bags. We had hundreds of peaches, and they were just taking peaches and leaving. We have 3 pineapples. It's really hard to grow pineapple. We have cacti, mint, peppers, figs.
Cool, dude.
We have everything. So like, just finding something relaxing will really reset your mood. And because if you're mad, you're sad, click the end live button, you know, go do something you love, get off your computer. If you are upset or something with your content, and then you continue to do your content, whether it's editing, streaming, being in other people's streams, you're just gonna get more upset, more annoyed, more sad. So that's my advice. Just do what you love. You can't really focus on content all the time. You need some time to yourself as well to protect your mental. So
for sure, I think that you know, spending time away from your screen outdoors is already really important as humans, because we're not meant to spend all this time in front of a screen. I absolutely agree, Mina. I recharge in the sunlight. I'm like a plant. I'm like photosynthesis. I absolutely need sunlight in order to like reset. I also love I love my garden. I have a bunch of can't remember what they're called, but they're these really pretty purple flowers. And I go out there and there's just so many bees. So many bees. I go out there and I watch them. I just watch them do their bee thing. They're the best. I there's so many different kinds of bees. And that's really what what gives me this like this recharge of okay, I'm all better now. And I know not everybody's like, oh, sunlight and nature. Some people are really like, yeah, I think I'd like something a bit more like I'm gonna go play like basketball or something, or like engage in a sport, or go to the gym. Also, love the gym. Oh, love the gym. I love lifting weights. Honeybees are friends, and I 100% think that it's difficult for some people to know their limit when you are streaming. I was unable to recognize that. I was unable to recognize burnout because I'd never felt it before, because I was doing something that I loved so much that I thought there's no way I'm ever going to get tapped from doing this. And I used to do, 12, 15-hour streams. And gradually, the more I was in this job, what have you, I streamed less and less because I found that it wasn't the length of time of the stream. It was the quality. It wasn't quantity. It was very much like, did I have a good time? Did I laugh? Did I make other people laugh? I'm not sure because I can't hear them, but I know that there was a lot of conversation today. There were some new people that I'd never seen before. I really like that too. I love when new people stop by because I'm just like, oh shoot, what's up? And I think that recharging looks different for everybody. Some people are like, dude, I gotta quit and go take a nap. When I'm done with streaming, generally I like to eat. I feel pretty hungry afterwards. I work up a sweat sometimes when I'm streaming because when I voice act, I do a ton of voice acting on stream, just randomly, and sometimes that'll like engage my core. And that feels like a workout. So I'm like, all right, dude, I'm just gonna go eat. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's not a great way to be like, oh, eating is relaxing. But I do love eating. I love eating food. Food is life, dude. So whenever I'm feeling a little like rough from stream, I'm like, well, what if I just went downstairs and had some chickpeas or something? I don't know. Chickpeas, like that's a huge luxury.
No, but like,
but the point is, I'm always hungry.
No, but like, you're 100% correct though. Like, because being on stream is being on. Like,
yes,
streaming is inherently like, it's fun, it's engaging, it can be all of these things. What streaming isn't is relaxing. Like, in my opinion. Like,
gotta agree with that.
It's not. Maybe it's not as stressful as your job. Maybe it's not as stressful as an exam or homework or whatever, but like, it is still not truly relaxing. Like, when you are streaming, you are still on.
You're like, I'm on, dude.
Yeah.
I'm paying attention. I'm here. I'm present.
So
you can't just be like on your phone, like, no one wants to watch that.
Nobody wants to watch you doom scrolling TikTok on your couch. But so I think that like, yeah, being hungry after stream makes perfect sense. One thing, and this is maybe for all of the people who are in chat who are like, son, one thing, I still recommend getting outside. Ironically, touch grass is not like, it's actually good advice.
Nice.
But also, one thing that I found, not every game has to be content.
Yep.
You can play games just for yourself, and that is okay. You don't have to be recording all the time. You don't have to be constantly like trying to be like, oh my god, oh, that's crazy, like, when you're just like playing games for yourself. Like, shut that off and remember to enjoy games for the sake of just enjoying games. It doesn't have to be content, and you can burn yourself out so quickly by thinking that every single moment that you are playing games has to be content, that you have to be recording all the time, that you have to be this personality who is always on, who is always recording, who is always, trying to hit a clip, whatever. Like,
Yep.
Go play Fortnite and do dumb stuff. Get dumpstered 30 times in a row as long as you're having fun and not like constantly thinking like, how am I going to spin this into a YouTube video? How am I going to make this a TikTok? How am I going to make this into what's my Instagram caption going to be? Like
what static
stop
content am I
that.
going to throw this into? Like,
You
how
got to
can I-
stop that. Like you need to have those moments for yourself.
I completely agree because that's something I still do to this day. I'm always like my mods, my community. They're like, Mina, you don't want to play this. Why are you playing it? And I'm like, I know if I play something else, my view count will split in half. And I was forcing myself, and it made me stream less and less because I'm like, I don't want to get on this game. I really don't. My main audience is this game, and I don't want to do it. And literally this week, I was like, you know what? I want to have fun on stream. I want to be happy. I want to play something I love. So I started playing a new game this week, and my view count is higher than it was with my OG game.
We love it.
Are you like? I was like, I was so stressed for no reason. I met so many new people. Variety is the wave, you guys. You know, you meet a whole different audience. Yeah, you meet a whole different audience. You still have your audience that are, you know, they're gonna be there no matter what, and it was so refreshing. It's so nice. Now I just play what I like without the thought of, oh, you know, who cares about the view count? I turn it off. I do what I love, and now my mood is a lot better, and I stream longer, and I feel really good. So do what you want, y'all. Do what you want.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I second that. I only streamed League actually for my first.
Oh my gosh.
Probably for like the first month.
That's a
'cause
lot.
I was really into it. And then I realized, no, I don't just want to stream one game. So I played Portal, and then I played Among the Sleep, and then I played Outlast, and I played all these games. It was like, dude, there's way too many games out there to just put myself to one. So I think I've been a variety caster pretty much my entire existence on this platform. Like there has not been one game where I'm like, this is it. This is my one game. And I think that's really helped me in the long run because I love playing independent games, like indie titles that might be not like as crazy AAA popular, because you might get some devs in there. You might get the actual people who develop these games and who are making these games watching your stream, which has been that's one of the highs for me. One of the highs is having devs in. One of my favorite games that I've ever played is called Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning. And I love that game, A. And B, whenever I did play it, I would get some of the devs come in and just hang out and talk. And that is like unreal for me because
It's such a cool feeling.
it's such a cool thing to be like, oh, they were part of this. They were part of this game. They were part of this huge experience, like all of my time and effort. And now it's part of my stream. Now it's a part of my job. And they're just here chilling. It's like you just don't know who's gonna walk into your office, right? You don't know who's gonna show up. The more games you play and try out, because every single game has a different market and a different audience. Yeah.
Moving from kind of like a different perspective on Burnout, because this is an interesting topic, I think, where a lot of people I think first run into Burnout from the perspective of I'm doing the same thing again and again and again and I'm just sick of it, like I don't want to play this one game anymore. You know, I'm struggling to find interest in this one thing. And I think that type of burnout people are more common to run into, you know, because I think people find their niche and they're like, oh, I'm comfortable here and I can just rinse and repeat this one game. Cool. Sure. People always come in to watch me play X. Like, you know, that's awesome.
Yeah.
The other kind of burnout that I think exists from the perspective of doing too much, where every single stream, like, you know, because I think we all agree that, like, what we said earlier is it's not about the number of streams that you do. If you only do one stream a week, but make it like this must watch, like everybody has to tune in kind of big spectacular event, you can do a crazy amount of numbers with you know, something with a setup like that instead of streaming 3 times a week or every single day.
Yep.
But then you also hit the opposite side of every single stream then has to be better than the last one, bigger than the last one, more intense than the last one. Has to be, and that is in and of itself unsustainable.
Yep.
Have you ever encountered like the coming from that other perspective of like, oh, next stream I need to do this, I need to make sure I get this kind of thing going on, I need to make sure that we have this going, a wheel and fireworks and Bean Boozled and this, that, and the other, and a dance break and live choreography and like all the like
live choreography.
You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
It's that idea of like pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing to the point of unsustainability.
Sure.
I've noticed, so before I really got into streaming, I noticed a lot of people who would put it out an act or do something really crazy on stream. And it's to the point where I saw them like, okay, so doing this is what makes more people join. But then, sometimes I want to just chill and have a stream just, me being myself. And then you have everyone in chat saying, hey, do what you used to do. Hey, where's the vibes from like last stream? Hey, like get up and twerk like you usually do. And you're just like, no, today I just want to do my own thing. And they're like, no, but like you always, you know what I mean? So I feel like I always preach this to my audience. It's be yourself on stream, because there are going to be times where you're like, okay, I have to do better than I did before. I have to act a certain way for people to watch. But then that's all cool and all. But when you want to finally just chill or like take a little break from that or switch over to just play something chill and hang out, they're going to be expecting that stuff, which kind of sucks to have to like keep doing something you're not comfortable with to gain an audience, or because that's what gets you the most. That's what helps you the most financially. And it'll be nice, it'll be cool, but then you're gonna be like, I want a break. I want to take a little break from this. I don't want to do this anymore. And then people are gonna expect it, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
I have a like thought knocking at the door of my brain that needs to just be out there. I would just personally love to see somebody bring exactly the opposite energy to the game that they're playing. So like the most hype Stardew Valley stream you've ever seen, or like the coziest Call of Duty stream. I would just, I don't know. Sorry, whoever does that, you can pay me my royalties or whatever. But
right.
I would love to see. There's just something like super amusing about that. Of like, beer, strawberries, baby, let's go. Anyway.
Find out the secrets that Grandpa left us.
Level 100 in the mine.
Oh my god. I feel like that's kind of actually, it's funny you say that, because I think that's kind of how I approached it initially with Stardew Valley. It was like, oh, this is hype, but I'm growing. This is not a hype game. I stopped playing Stardew Valley. I'm not a hype Stardew Valley person. But I love that idea of like, oh, we're just gonna go through and maybe like do a little crocheting and also play Call of Duty at the same time.
That is so cute.
That's really cute, right? Like, I'm gonna crochet the charms on the.
Oh, that's adorable. I love that.
Yeah, something like that.
Anyway, sorry, before I super rudely cut you off, I think you were trying to make a point.
I think I got that same thing, Mina, where it was like, people be like, do this, right? Like, dance, monkey. I want you to do this thing for me now. Like, for me, it was voiceover stuff. People were like, hey, can you talk like this? Hey, can you do the Gnar voice from League of Legends? Hey, can you do this voice? Because I'm already like throwing out a slew of different accents and stuff, and some of them are okay, some of them are really pretty rough. But if someone hears that, they're like, hey, can you do this? Hey, can you do this? And most of the time I'm like, man, I'll oblige. But chances are it's like, if someone is like, oh, you're a voice actor, can you do this? Can you do an impression? And it's like, some people I don't think about the, hey, can you impersonate Jeff Goldblum? Not really. My vocal cords look nothing like Jeff Goldblum's vocal cords. Like, that is like 6'5" something dude. Then that's not my stature, right? So no, I couldn't. But I'll do my best, Christopher Walken. if I can, I'm gonna do Christopher Walken every single time. That's like my one go-to where people are like, all right, do an impression. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do Christopher Walken. You might not even know who that is.
Amazing. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. But no, I feel you on the like, hey, why aren't you doing this one thing?
Mhm.
I swear that like it goes away after a while. I think if you're like if you're not paying attention to it, it's just kind of like people forget that you used to do like a whole bunch of voices on stream, because I still do, but I'm not nearly as like obvious about it, right? Where I'm not like, hey guys, I'm Tristana from League. People are like, wait, what? I'm like, I play games. I play games now. I do games. I do the games. Put Walking back in the box. Oh, come on. I know everyone laughs every single time. And they laugh so hard, and no one is looking at me like, Elspeth, you're dumb.
I think I wrote down this question, and I think it might be well, okay, no, I think it'll be interesting to hear this from the perspective of like partner approvals of the past and like partner approvals of as they exist right now. But I have this really formative memory in my mind of a creator who I loved watching, tuning in every single day to watch them play games. And their primary game was Overwatch, and I remember they were covering like some big announcement from BlizzCon about the new map and the new character or whatever. And I remember they were set up to like co-stream this event, from Blizzard themselves. They had like that whole deal signed. And I remember at the end of that live stream segment where they were showing off the new map and showing off the new character, they said, hey, I actually have to get off now because I'm only sitting here at 50 and it's ruining my average. So if you need to hear more about my thoughts on this map, I'll see you elsewhere, and then ended. And that
50 viewers?
Yeah, and that moment has stayed with me for
I've got to end.
ever.
Sorry guys, it's not enough. Bye.
That moment has stayed with me forever because
Dang.
It speaks to like that partner pressure, right?
Sure.
And
Yeah.
it speaks to how obsessive some individuals can get about that one benchmark number. And
Sure.
I think the both of you have gotten partnered under very different circumstances, but like, did you
yeah,
also
very
feel that same kind of like, gotta make sure the numbers are where they are, gotta make sure,
Not even, I didn't even hit the criteria. Back in the day, it was 500 viewers and you're partnered. I had maybe 100. Oh, can you see me okay?
Yep, we can see you.
I think it just refreshed.
Yeah, I can still see you.
Okay, yeah, it was not the criteria. It was very much like Twitch wants to partner you, and so you're gonna get partnered. And I think they came up with a much more transparent way of getting partnered and what they're looking for. But it's really difficult to say because I did experience videos that went viral. I experienced growth on Twitch that was, I would say, abnormal as a creator because I had work outside of Twitch that was voice acting in one of the biggest games on the platform at the time. I can't look at that and be like, oh yeah, that's just every person's journey, because it's not. But I can safely say that if I guess if you're still looking, right? If you're like, well, I'm on Twitch and I'm not growing, you gotta find your niche, kind of like find something that you really gravitate towards. I like to call it like find your corner of the internet, because there are many. But again, that's very difficult because my partner journey was so, I didn't have like a, oh, well, I've got to push for partner. I remember the first subs. I remember having sub goals. I remember having like, oh, here's how many subs I would like, and here's how many subs I eventually might get. But I think there was less and less pressure for me, right, as a creator, because I was like, I'm not sure what I want with this. It's all relative. I looked at partnership as like oh, I'm official now, but I wasn't sure what that really like meant. I think it just meant you can start earning money on Twitch now.
Mhm.
You can start earning. You can start maybe trying to make a living. Because this is fun. My first 4 months on Twitch, I was in the last semester of college. Like I was graduating from college. And so it was very like, I'm just kind of doing this for fun. And I got partnered. That's kind of neat. And we have a front page slot because of this. That's pretty cool. And it just kind of, it was like a snowball. It was a snowball effect. And that is another area where I'm coming from, where it's like, that's difficult for me to be like, hey, let me offer you advice as a streamer. Because it was just so, it was different. What I will say is that there's so much more. There's so many more ways to get partnered. There's so many more ways to get noticed. Like the recommended tab on Twitch, that didn't exist. You know, trying to filter your following list by like, not just by viewer count, that didn't exist. It was always presented to you as like, who's got the most viewers? That's what you're gonna see. And I think that mindset of having like, I've always got to have viewers. I've always got to have viewers. I have had dudes. I don't know. My this is probably terrible for me to admit as a creator, but I don't know what's gonna happen some days. I'm just like, this was a great stream, and I played this game that I didn't even think was gonna draw anybody in, but for some reason people just showed up today out of all days on a Tuesday at 4 p.m. I don't know, dog. I don't know. It's like you turn on your stream and you just hope for the best. Sometimes it's RNG, right?
Sometimes, yeah.
It's yeah.
For me, so mine is really interesting. So I never thought I'd have streaming would be my full-time job. It was never a goal of mine. I was going for my degree in bio, and then I was planning on medical school after. So I did streaming as a hobby. I've always done streaming as a hobby. I wanted to meet friends. No one I live in a really small town, and no one watches anime. No one likes video games. It was always hard for me to find people with similar hobbies. So I started streaming. I started talking anime. I started meeting new friends, gaming. And, you know, fast forward, averaging 30 viewers. I never really thought about partner. I was just having fun. And then going back to those two girls, they had hundreds of viewers, and they were my friends before we all started streaming. And they just decided, we're going to cut Mina off, and we just don't want to talk to Mina. I'm like, that's fine, whatever. And then they were saying on their stream, like, we hit partner way before Mina. Like, they said it on their stream. I think they were doing a drunk stream. And they're like, we hit partner way before Mina. We averaged 10 times the viewers Mina averages.
What a jerk!
And then
you know
they're
what's
saying
crazy
my
is that
name.
your success was like their story for how well they were doing. I think that's really interesting because even though they're like, oh, I have hundreds of viewers or whatever, they still looked at you to be like,
Still talking about
I
me.
have to, right? Like,
And
what
it's crazy because their audience was coming in my stream and they're telling me, and they're showing me clips. I'm like, guys, I don't care. They're my past. You know, we were sisters.
Sure.
And you know, they just
Sure.
did their own thing. You know, good for them. I'm not gonna let it upset me. But I'm like, you know, maybe I do want to hit partner. You know, everyone's saying I've been streaming for so long and I can't hit it. I'm like, you know, I'm gonna start trying, because I wasn't trying. I was doing it for fun. I was streaming for fun. You know, and then there was 1 month I uploaded on TikTok every day. I had so many videos, so many TikToks hit 1 million views, so many at the time. And I'm like, oh my God. And I was in college, you know, so I was just editing for fun, little funny clips, uploading. All of a sudden, I went from 30 viewers to 150 the next day. I'm like, where did you guys come from? Like, what happened? And then I hit the next week I was able to apply for partner. I'm like, I'll try it out. I don't know how this is gonna work. And then I applied and I got partner. And I was like, all from TikTok. And it's just crazy how your life can change. I was never focused on, okay, I'm at 63 average viewers. I'm almost there. I never really did that. I was just streaming for fun, uploading for fun, and then it just happens on its own. I feel like if you're focusing on the number, it's going to drain you. Like if you're ending stream because you're at 50, you had 50 people there waiting for you, like there for you, and for you to end because that's not exactly what you wanted, it's
Yeah.
kind of sad. Like
Oh,
that's so mean to your audience. So
oh.
anyone lurking, watching, partner will happen on its own. I see a lot of
Mhm.
people on Twitter adding their Discord. Hey, I'm trying to hit partner. Can you guys lurk the stream and be there the whole time? Like,
Yeah.
that's gonna really drain you. That's really gonna take a toll on your mental when you start averaging 73 a week and then the next week it's 63 or 67. Like, it's really going to drain you and your mental is going to take a toll. So just let it happen on its own. Honestly, just have fun, be happy on stream, post on other platforms, and you'll wake up and be a partner the next day. You never really know.
Yeah. And you know, to your point, like platforms like TikTok are such a good avenue for growth. They are such a good avenue for growth. You can have a video pop off out of left field. Like there's no rhyme or reason behind it. You can do almost everything, like outside of like TOS breaches, you can do a lot of things wrong on that platform and still somehow find an audience. It's wild to me.
True.
And to just like, I didn't set out to like prove a point with this, but like I found a spam account of mine on TikTok that I think it had like 11 followers, and I had done nothing with it. Absolutely nothing. And so I decided, okay, you know what? This is going to be my spam account. This is going to be where I go to just post whatever kind of nonsense I want. I don't have to worry about, content, whatever. I'm just going to post dumb stuff here and not think about numbers at all. And so I posted one really stupid video that was only 26 seconds long, so it didn't even make the minute. And it was just of my partner like picking up various things like off of a kitchen counter. And I think that video currently sits at like 820,000 views.
Wow.
That's amazing.
So for everybody who is like, I'm streaming, what's the point of streaming to 0 viewers? You're asking the right question. Stop. For everybody who's asking, oh, when should I be streaming? Stop worrying about that. Like, Mina, like literally that is like the mentality to avoid burnout when you are trying to push for success is stop trying to push for success.
It'll happen naturally. Like it really will.
Like
I want to say like it will, but I know that there have been people who've been doing this for a long time and who haven't seen any growth. And I know that that's like, it's something that I view it realistically, right? Where I'm like, all right, what is the definition of success, right? Like what does that look? Does it look like partner? Because Mina, I want to go back to what you said when you were like, dude, when I got partner, you're like, I don't know what I'm like, what do I push for after this? Like what comes after partner? What does that look like? What does your stream look like after you've gotten this achievement? And I guess it's different for everybody, right? So I never want to say like this is like a guarantee, and this is something that could happen, because ultimately I still think that it's just there's millions of people on this platform. It's a lot to it's selective, and I hate to say that, but I think the partner program is also like it's selective, and they look at this and they look at numbers, they look at your influence outside of Twitch, and I don't think it's all about like, oh, I've got to hit this one specific number, because after that, you've still got to keep that up, right? You've still got to look at it as like, okay, I'm a partner. What does that mean for my future streams? And it can't just be about numbers. It's got to be about you. It's got to be about what do you like to do? Are you doing this for the love of it, or are you doing it because you feel like you've got to hit something? And that's like, I don't know. It's so difficult to be like, what does your future identity look like? What does future you look like? What does a future partner look like on this channel? What do you want out of Twitch? Do you want a community, or do you want people to just watch you and pay you money? Because there's a big difference there.
Yeah.
A big difference.
And I hate to say this, but a lot of people think partner is the end goal. It's not.
Sure.
I
No.
I see more partners averaging less viewers than affiliates now
Dude,
because people
yeah.
hit partner and they stop. They're like, I'm done. I grinded.
Sure.
But
Sure.
that's
And
just
some
the
people are
beginning.
like, exactly. And some people, myself included, did not match the criteria. It was literally like, okay, you're partnered, and it was again different time. But I think that some of it is just that you get picked. You get picked out of it. You're like, this is you have a large enough influence outside of Twitch, or you're bringing enough viewers. It could have been your first time on Twitch and you just averaged, 400 people. Twitch is going to look at that and be like, okay, this person has reach. This person has a community. This person has a brand. This person has an identity. They have a goal. They know what they want their stream to look like, and they're doing this because they have a vision of fun. They have a vision of entertainment. They're maybe not the most sparkling attitude. Maybe they're not the best at games, but they have something. They have something that makes them unique. They got that thing that makes people want to watch and engage with their content. So if people are not watching and engaging with your content on Twitch right now, there's a very, very, very small chance that they're ever going to watch and engage with your content. And I'm going to keep that real. I'm going to keep that real because you've got to have reach outside of Twitch to bring people in as a community, because it's really difficult for people to discover you right off the bat. If you're still streaming to like, an average of 1 to 10 people, that's tough. That's really tough.
Yeah. And it's going back to that line of like, have I ever told you the definition of insanity, right?
Right.
It's doing the same thing again and again, expecting the results to be different this time. Like,
right. And that's difficult too, because again, as someone who's seen a lot of different techniques that people have used to get to partner, or paths that people have taken to get to partner. I've seen people go like from very, very like, I've been hustling, and then bam, growth happens, right? But I can tell you that like 90% of the time, the reason that happens is because they focus their efforts into something else. They focus their efforts into another platform like Instagram, TikTok, something like that. Or they started collaborating with other people on Twitch. They started looking at people who already have an established presence, maybe on Twitch or elsewhere. And I'm not saying like, oh, I want to like get in good with the crowd, but if you know other people on Twitch and you're trying to build a brand for yourself, start with other people. Make other streaming friends. And that, again, there's so much that goes into it, right? Because you got to have an idea of what you want on Twitch. Because if you don't have the idea and you're just streaming, you're like, why is nobody showing up? Then you figure that part out. Come up with a theme. My theme was elephants. Elephants were like my jam. They're still my jam. Anytime someone subscribes, they're getting the trunk, right? Like that's happening. And that's been that way for a very long time. And it's part gimmick, part of what I love to do, because I can make an elephant noise. Exactly, Shifu. And I don't want to take up too much time because I know we're getting there, but I think that's very important to come up with a theme, a brand, something that people can align with you so they can refer back to you and be like, I remember that one stream with that person, with the thing. I'm going to go back to that.
Yeah.
Still do it.
Yeah. No, and it speaks to, again, the point is you have to be able to show up as the best possible version of yourself at this moment. Like that is paramount to your success as a content creator, is being able to show up as the best possible version of yourself. And
you want to be a good host, I want to be a good host.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want people to feel like, wow, I'm feeling like crap after watching this person. Unless, that was their intent, to come in and make everybody else feel like crap. I'm very much like, no, I want to be the person that brings us together rather than separates us.
Yeah, totally agreed. We are just about out of time. I feel like that time absolutely flew by.
It went by so quick.
I was like, it's already 3.
I know. Thank you both so much for being here.
Oh my God,
before
dude, I'm sorry.
Having us.
No.
Blabbing so much.
No.
Thank you so much for having me on, dude.
That was
Really
that was
appreciate that.
the whole point The whole point is to yap.
Yep.
So on our way out, if you want to just let everybody know where they can find you, where they can find your content, Mina, why don't we start with you?
My name right here. You can find me on Twitch, and on TikTok. It's my old name, MEENUHHH. It's like Mina spelt out, sounded out. So Mina on every other platform, and you can check me out there.
Yeah, awesome. And Elspeth?
You can find me on Twitch at Elspeth, so that's just my name. On TikTok, I'm Elspeth Eastman, which is my full name and also my, I guess, voice acting. How you can find me through voice acting. But yeah, I'm just kind of all over the place. And shout out to everybody also here who was really sweet and from all our communities. Like, that's really nice to see y'all, and it's just great to have you
And
guys
interact too.
here. Yeah,
Very
thank
cool.
you, thank you for that.
Yeah. And if you haven't gotten sick of me yet, I go by Nubbins Inc. pretty much everywhere on the internet. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, pretty much Twitch. Yeah. I will be actually live later tonight if you haven't gotten sick of me yet today. I think we might be playing some Helldivers, maybe some Valorant. We don't know. And for
Nice.
everybody who is going to DreamHack Dallas later this week, I'm going to be there. So if you want to come find me and potentially roll a D20 across the ground to win some awesome prizes, make sure to keep an eye out for me somewhere on the show floor. DreamHack Dallas, we're going to be there and giving some prizes away. And probably just hanging out with people, shooting some fun content. So come find me, come say hi. I always love meeting people out in the wild at events. It's so much fun for me.
It's so fun.
Yeah, and thank you for tuning in for Office Hours. I hope that you learned something. I hope that you take something back to your stream. We do try to do these weekly, but that has been more difficult with work being what it is. So hope to be back on schedule doing these every Thursday at 1 p.m. sometime in the near future. That's the hope. That's the dream. But as always, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much to, again, our amazing guests for sharing their insights and for dropping that wisdom, that knowledge. And
My pleasure. Thank you, Nubbins, and thank you, Streamlabs, for having us. It's been lovely.
It's been awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Have an amazing rest of your day and happy streaming, y'all. Have a good one.
Yeah.